Hi. For this vlog, I want to talk specifically about education system and supporting the education system by becoming effective within it, because has been a very this has developed by my acceptance and allowance very extensively, so much that it affects other parts of my life. So, education system. For me, the education system was really the very first problem I was aware of, in the sense that I noticed it. There were other problems before the education system, yet I only noticed the education system as being the first problem. And slowly but surely, I demonized. I made the education system a villain in my life, as if the education system was there just to overthrow me and to make fun of me and push me around and basically control me and manipulate me. When in fact I actually gave away my power to the education system to do that. And right now I'm facing this point of doing what is best for all, because at this moment, in my case, to do what is best for all is to become effective within school. Yet because of my attachments to the past, my so-called history with my my history of encounters with the education system, feeling of reluctance within me and feeling of wanting to give up, but I can't, just can't give up because there is no choice. No matter how, even at the stage that I am in becoming self-honest to myself, I realize that the point of equality is inevitable. It will happen. And I now have to take responsibility by embracing the fact that whether I become part of the solution of equality is up to me as my self-directed actions. And since I'm on the point of education, I'd like to explore my relationship tie with revision. I never really revised out of interest. It was always forced and treated as an obligation, a complication compared to things I wanted to do, which transformed over time but served the same purpose: distraction. For example, when I was 5 to 10 years old, the distractions were television, and from 10 until now, distractions are the internet, not so much television, yet they serve the same purpose. And at this moment, I find revising rather difficult, and I'm beginning to notice that within moments where I am actually revising, I do not focus on the material in front of me and play around with it in my head, so to speak. I would only read the words and that's it. I would not direct myself to make those connections that are needed to that knowledge and establish that knowledge as me, really, and live that knowledge. I don't know how to do that yet. I mean, up until now, all I've been doing is memorizing, memorizing through repetition, doing lots of past papers, which works really well in maths, yet does not work so well in subjects like physics and chemistry, where the vocabulary is absolutely required, and those connections which I do have not directed myself to make are absolutely important. So at this point, the action to take right now for me is to direct myself to make those connections and to focus on the material. Simple. And not give a fuck about my personality and my negative reactions towards it. And that will require some pushing at first, only to realize that I never needed to push. And I'm talking about this in today's vlog because it's a point that I'm facing right now and is extremely relevant to how well I'll survive in the world system. Because as a student's survival is dependent on their grades. And then when they graduate from university, then it's about how much money they have. In most, no, in my case, I cannot speak for all students. I am aware that there are students who must support themselves in university. Also, after a conversation with Bella, I realized that I unconsciously lived unresponsibly, unresponsibly, in the sense that I would abdicate all of what I'm supposed to do to some outside authority figure, because that's what I was guided to do and the sort of attitude I was guided to adopt. But now that I'm aware of it, I must stop it. And that attitude is one of complacency, not directing oneself and take initiative to do things, to make things happen. And this pattern has plagued me in every aspect of my life. I need to write about it to explore it and self-forgive those points related to complacency and speaking since speaking of complacency, that relates back to homework and why I do not will myself to do it and re- and revise school material effectively. It's a big point that has to be resolved. What else? Yeah, for me, this is the one of the big points I'm facing. Porn was not as difficult as this homework point and this complacency point. Mm, since I'm vlogging already, just quick sharing with shaving my head again. I spoke to my mother before I shaved my head, and she was relatively joyful and happy and positive. And then after I shaved my head, everyone in the house treated me differently, distinctly differently. And at first, I felt the obligation to feel the way they felt, and so I felt bad about myself, a bit guilty, only to realize that I have no obligation. All of this stuff is so simple, but it requires self-honesty. That's all I have to share. Thank you for watching.